All right, boys and girls, so this morning I hope you've already finished your handwriting. It was your handwriting page with the kite on the front and the ducks on the back. Make sure you did your best handwriting and your best coloring. All right, well, in reading, boys and girls, it's super important that we continue reading in our readers. I mentioned this yesterday in our video. When mom and dad ask you to read your readers, you need to continue to practice. Remember, practice makes progress. And if we want to be a better reader, we need to continue practicing. You have some old readers probably at home, and there are some in your packet that you can practice, and you're probably very good at reading those. Practice reading to mom, dad, brother, sister, find a favorite stuffed animal or doll and practice reading to them. We also need to move into that brand new reader that I sent home. Be sure and use your pencil and write your name on the front, and also continue practice. In about 15 minutes each day, we need to be practicing our reading. We need to practice reading out loud, but we also need to practice reading in our head silently. If you need to mark the vowels, that's okay. Remember, tricky words do not need to be marked. Those are words that just need to be memorized. There's a tricky word list in that packet I mentioned yesterday. You need to continue to practice memorizing those. One of the things that you can do is take some paper and make a memory game. We've done that before with our tricky words. Mom and dad, you might need to help with this project, but it's a fun little game of just matching up. They can practice reading the memory the tricky words in a memory game. So that's a good extra practice for our memory on tricky words. All right, I'm going to give a couple of directions on a couple of worksheets, and I'm also going to be linking a couple of things from the smartboard that we do, just some little extra practice. Most of the things we're doing this week are review items, so these are things that children might need a little reminders after having a couple of weeks off, but these are all skills that we've learned. When you go to your packet and you find your phonics sheet that looks like this, it's page 137. Boys and girls, the back is blank. You always liked it when we got that paper and there wasn't anything to do. Mom and dad, we're not going to worry about taking any kind of recorded grade on this. Of course, you'll need to review it if you work with your child and help them go through it. If you see some skills maybe they're needing to review on, just go ahead and do some extra practice. At the top, it says, write the blend your teacher says. Mom and dad, you can give them a blend of any kind of letter mixed in with a vowel. A would be a, T and an A. Just pick three that you think would work there, and the children need to write it neatly. We always use lowercase letters, and we use our handwriting lines. Again, boys and girls, blue, dotted, and the red line. We need to continue to practice our handwriting, first and last name at the top with that finger space in the middle. The words in the middle, we practice marking our vowels. That's just a good little strategy to help us sounding out. And of course, reading the words, marking and reading. We should be able to read those. It might take a few times, mom and dad. They might want to go through first and mark. A lot of times we'll do that. Sometimes we have people come up to the board. They love to mark, of course, on the smart board, but anything that they can do to practice decoding them, and then, of course, going back and reading them. These are all words they should be able to read. So if they're struggling a little bit, maybe need a little review on those sounds, that's okay. It's been a couple of weeks off from doing that. Unfortunately, if we don't use it, we lose it. So let's continue practicing letter sounds and vowel sounds. And then, of course, at the bottom, boys and girls, super easy for you. There's 4 pictures. You'll need to read the word choices. If you need to mark the vowels, of course, that's always a-okay. And read and circle the word that names the picture. Mom and dad, again, this is great practice. These are all words the children can sound out. Again, if you're seeing that they're struggling with that, stop, review the letter sounds and the vowel sounds. Long vowels and short vowels, the magic key, boys and girls, remember, always makes the vowel make the long sound. Remember, long vowels are super easy. A, E, I, O, U. Stick above long vowels, little bitty smiley face above the short vowels, and we cross out that magic E. Just a good strategy to help us. Some of the boys and girls are very quick about marking vowels, and that's okay. Mom and Dad, if you see that they are struggling with that, please give a little extra practice. It really helps train the brain to be able to sound out those words quicker. All right, the goal, of course, is to be able to read quicker. Don't forget, boys and girls, 15 minutes of reading on your readers. Also, of course, there's so many different books online that you can practice reading, but we do want to make sure we continue practicing on our readers. All right, your math sheet looks like this. It's page 97 and 98. Again, Mom and Dad, these are skills that we've all learned. This would just be, it would have been a graded page for the grade book, but of course we're not going to be doing that. But this is a page that kind of gives you an idea of what we've been doing. These are skills that your child should be able to do quickly. We use our pencil again, first and last name at the top, and addition. Again, they might need some manipulatives to practice. Sometimes they're using their fingers, and those are all okay. These are just strategies we're using. The goal is that they learn these, and of course, we'll do them quicker. If you get a chance, you can make some flashcards, a good extra practice. Also with addition, joining those numbers together. Remember, boys and girls, we're joining together, we're adding up. Again, a skill that we've done for a while, so the children should be on point with that. Looking at our money, Mom and Dad, it'd be super helpful if you could pull out a real coin and a real dime. Boys and girls, we talk a lot about how they are the same color, and how crazy is it that a nickel is 5 cents, but it's bigger than a dime. And again, Mom and Dad, if they can touch and hold this coin, that would be something we would do in the classroom. They need to feel it and kind of get an idea. Nickels and dimes get confused very easily. And we have learned to count by fives. We've learned to count by tens. So we always tie those in. I'm also going to be posting a link about counting by fives and counting by tens. Again, 2 skills that we've done for quite a while. The children should be very good at those. So you might need to review, go back, jump up and down, count by fives, clap, count by tens, any kind of movement. We usually add any kind of movement when we're counting, just rote counting by fives and by tens, and then match that, of course, with the coin. But again, it is super helpful if you can have a real coin, nickel, and dime for them to kind of see and feel. Not uncommon for to get those confused, especially when it's on paper. They'll do much better if they can see it and look at it. All right, when you go down, number that comes after. We do a lot of number that comes after. This might be something that we of course, would use the smart board or the dry erase board. Mom and Dad, you can give them different numbers. These are just a few. We've learned our numbers by families. Boys and girls, you know families, our 50 family, our teen family, our 70 family, 20 family, the 1 family, and then of course 99. You guys know what comes after that. We had a big celebration on that day. So again, just counting through. It's good practice to go back, boys and girls, and count through our numbers, count through our families, and then write the numbers. Boys and girls, we can practice writing in the air. You know how we use our magic pencil, just some extra practice. Use it and write on the table with your pointer, your magic pencil. We don't really want to write on Mommy's table. But anything just to practice writing those numbers. It might be a couple of weeks before we've written our numbers. So let's make sure we remember the way our numbers look. Make sure we remember which way they face. Mom and Dad, sometimes 9s and 5s get turned around. That's okay. Just kind of remind them, say, take a look at that number. Does that look like it's facing the right way? And they should be able to realize that it's a backwards 9 or a 5 and erase that. 3s are often reversed and fix that. So just some extra practice. And again, if they haven't done anything for a couple of weeks, might need to take a little extra practice and look and even model those numbers. Down at the bottom are writing the number. They've given us the number word. Again, number words, we've learned a few of them are tricky words. And they're on our tricky word list because they're number words that have to be memorized. Some of our number words like right here and right here, 2 of them on this, you can sound out. If you need to mark them, that's okay. But mom and dad's especially important that they're remembering number words, ones that we've learned. These are words. And then again, they can practice writing the numbers. Again, they can practice writing in the air. If you have anything at home that's fun, like shaving cream, that's something we would do in the classroom. But anything to make it fun, just to practice writing, especially since it's been a couple of weeks since we've done any writing with our numbers. All right, so again, this is all review things, boys and girls, that you should be able to do probably pretty quickly, but it's a good reminder to keep those skills in our brain. All right, when you go to the back, mom and dad, these are some story problems. Now, this is something we haven't done a lot of. You're going to need to help them. They might be able to read some of the words. There might be a few words in here that they might not be able to sound out. So just for fun, if you could let them practice trying to read what they can. If we were in the class, I would be reading through it with them. We would be practicing reading words that we could. Again, everything we tie in with reading. So even though this is math, we would also take the time to tie in our phonics with it, sound out what we can, and use that to help us figure out the math problem. Any kind of manipulatives are always helpful when we're doing addition, also makes it more fun. But again, I know that's a time issue as you're working at home. But anything that they can touch as they're counting is always super helpful. This is a story problem where they're going to have to answer a question. Boys and girls, there's a question mark. We've talked about that, different from a period. They're asking us something that we have to answer. And on this page, in a story problem, we're answering with a number. So mom and dad can show you how we write it neatly in the square, and then you get to write it. And again, this is a little new, and again, we would do this together as a class, mom and dad, but this is something that they can use those manipulatives and act out. This might take a little bit more time, but they need to be able to write the combination of what the words are. It might take a couple times of reading through the story, thinking it through on both of these. Story problems, kind of a new skill that we haven't done a lot, but we've always, when we have done together. All right, so those are the other 2 things I want you to work on. Again, I'll be posting a couple of links for practicing counting by 5s, counting by 10s, and I'm also going to practice a fun video for a brain break. So boys and girls, continue to work hard for mom and dad. Continue to do your best, and I miss you, and I love you. Bye-bye.